for you?
Good.
All right, we got questions, we got answers, we got takes, we got Packers and Vikings and Viking Mo tonight. Viking Mo. I will sing a song for Viking Mo.
Am I the only guest? Am I the only guest?
It's Viking week. Why would we have anybody else on here?
I don't know. Maybe you knew other people.
Nope, we don't know anybody else.
We know no one else that likes the Vikings. You're the only one.
Not a single person. Well, there's one person I know who likes the Vikings who really pissed me off on Tuesday, but I don't want to talk about him right now.
Oh, no.
Especially after last night. Now I'm even more mad.
Yeah, you should really call Dad back.
Dad? It's not Dad.
I know. I'm just playing around. It's a bad joke.
Brother-in-law who stole the only pick I wanted.
Ooh, talk about it. Hafeman Fantasy Football happened on Tuesday night. If you didn't know, we were almost going to broadcast a show, a Hafeman Brothers Hafeman Fantasy Football episode special. But we're giving you too many specials coming up. And we got new stuff coming up, too. We're going to get serious in a second, but we got so many exciting things happening. Eric, welcome to the program. You're so glad to be here, I'm sure.
I am, actually. I'm honored. I'm always honored. Yeah.
Eric, look at this. I got new stuff.
I was trying to not see that. Can you move your head back to the other? Oh, okay.
This is, so I figured out. All right, Tom Grassi, who now has 100,000 plus subscribers, has like stuff everywhere in some room. And I thought, well, maybe this will help us get more subscribers just by at least having some Packer relevant thing visible during our broadcast. So
we really do need something, or else people are like, what are these guys talking about?
This is right here.
I know. Like we never wear Packer clothes. Like something's really wrong.
I was gonna put on something purple, but I would be afraid that you'd boot me off the Zoom.
Ooh, no,
or something.
No. It's okay.
I was trying to be respectful and neutral.
Eric, no, you got to be Viking. You are Viking Mo tonight.
Yeah, that's your whole name, dude.
That's who you have.
Just like my name is Jesse H today.
That's right.
Bernard's here. Hey, how you doing, Bernard? Oh, Bernard gives it to you right away. Sorry, Eric. He says Vikings suck.
Well, he's not wrong.
And Rick's around, and he says his daughter likes the Vikes, but she's not old enough to know better. No.
Oh, wow.
Snap a doodles right away. That's what you get. But Eric, you still get respected on our show.
Yeah, I can tell.
And we will let you talk. We want you to talk about how much you fear Zadarius Smith. We want you to talk about we'll get into all that good stuff.
I can do that.
Okay. Got some exciting announcements. Announcements. Okay. First off, Ben has committed to doing not only because now games are starting, so we're excited about that. So we're going to do a game recap. I think we're going to go with Tuesdays, Ben. Does that work for you? We didn't really talk about this yet to work out a day. All right. So it's going to be Tuesdays or Wednesdays for a game recap. And then we're going to stick with probably Friday nights for our game preview of the upcoming game. So those things are happening. So 2 regular shows per week, 1 game recap with thoughts after we've calmed down, and analyze things.
We can't do it right after the game because then
it's a little too crazy.
Who knows? It will say, I can't filter myself at that point.
And there might be some drinking on my part. And so that could definitely skew, how I look at things at that point. And the preview show then will be the Friday kind of after we've digested the upcoming opponent and all that good stuff. So those things are happening. Let's see. Oh, Eric, thank you for telling us. Summit Saga IPA. I'm trying a new beer tonight. It's beer of the month. Black Rocks. Black Rocks out of Marquette, Michigan. And this one it's very ironic for me because it's 5.1K IPA, and I've never done any sort of K in my life, just so you know. The only time I run is when I'm chasing a ball or running away from something scary. Those are the only times I run. Okay, so we have those 2 things. Plus, Ben, tell them what you wanted to do, which I think we're going to do on Sunday.
I wanted to do live reaction show during the game.
Huh?
But I wanted us all together.
What else?
That's not going to happen.
And I'm putting it out as this. Are you tired of Troy Aikman and Joe Buck? Then just come on and watch the game with Hafeman Bros and listen to us talk while you're watching the game. It'd be more fun. Right?
Yeah.
I think Troy and Buck are doing the Brady Breeze game, aren't they?
No. Did you hear who's doing the Packer Viking game?
I thought Greg Jennings was going to be in the booth.
Yeah, Greg.
Greg. Oh boy. Okay.
Former Viking and Packer receiver.
Yeah.
With Chris Myers, I think. With Chris Myers. Yeah.
Oh man. Okay.
Chris Myers isn't on the sidelines.
Wasn't it Chris Myers?
I gotta
Maybe I'm
open my
wrong.
beer here.
I
I
could
don't
be
know.
wrong.
Who knows? I don't care.
Okay. All right. We'll get into the
listen to that
football
one.
stuff in just a second. Now, there are a couple of big things today. Obviously, September 11th. Lots of people talking about that. Where were you today on this day 19 years ago? And it's a funny story because Ben, not funny, but it's really ironic. Like, Ben, you and I were both, we've had a couple of jobs where we've worked at the same place for a little bit of time. We were at school for a number of years, mostly because you stayed in school so long for at the same time. And when September 11th hit, we were both working at TV 13 in Eau Claire, right?
Yeah.
And we were both there that morning. It was really weird.
I don't know.
Weren't you there then?
Were you working as a cameraman then?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
I think I had just started full time, like after a summer of working part time. And I had just finally started full time there. And Ben and I were both videographers, full time videographers, working the news beat. And we went in for the work that day, which is, we went in about 9:00. And no, you didn't.
I wasn't scheduled till 11. I had the late shift that day. I was 11 to 7.
Okay.
But they called me. What's her face? I can't remember what her name was. The
Sheila.
chick who handed out all the assignments.
Sheila Brown.
Right. She called me.
Yeah.
And woke me up. And was like, Ben, you got to get to work right now. And I'm like, why? I don't work till 11. It was like 8. It was like 8 in the morning or 7:30 in the morning or something when she called me. Or whenever it was. 8:30. I don't know, whatever time it was. And she's like, well, haven't you been watching TV? I'm like, no, I've been sleeping. Hello. And then she told me what happened, and it didn't register in my brain. But I had to get up and go to work, and I go to work, and I'm just like, we didn't even work. We just stood there and watched the news feed.
Right. It was so weird.
For the longest time, trying to figure out like comprehend what's going on. Like it made no sense to any of us really. We'd work in the all the news department people and reporters and everybody else were all just like, holy mac, like what is going on? Like we didn't even think about stories and anything like that. I don't think we even went on a story until after 11, did we? I think we sat there that whole morning and watched the TV coverage of, obviously it was NBC coverage because we were at NBC station. But I think we were an NBC station, right? Yeah.
Yes, we were.
And but it was just nuts.
Yeah, it was a weird day. So where were you, if you remember on that day? You can let us know in the chat. It's a dark day in American history for sure, but it's anyway. Just take a minute if you didn't to reflect on that today. We'll give you that little time right now. Eric, do you remember where you were? What were you doing? Working at a hospital at that point or something?
Yeah, I was working in a hospital. I was in Eau Claire still. I was actually living on Water Street. And I remember because I actually had a first date that day scheduled for that day. So obviously that didn't really happen because we both just met, and obviously it was not my wife. We've been married 12 years, but this was before that. It didn't really work out, which is fine. But I just remember like we were supposed to have a first date and we ended up just sitting and watching the news in complete disbelief the whole day. And it just changed the mood of obviously everything. So, but I just remember a lot of American flags hanging out on Water Street outside people's windows and things like that. And just instant sorrow and everything else too from that day. But,
yeah, that was another thing someone said I saw on Facebook today too. It's like, it's too bad that America can't go back. And as tragic as September 11th was, how unified the country was on September 12th. And now, of course, everybody's all freaking divisive on everything. When I was talking to somebody the other day, I was like, people can't decide whether they want Taco Tuesday or Taco Thursday. Like they're fighting about that now. They're fighting about everything under the sun. That's so stupid. And when you think back to that time, it took something incredibly tragic and terrible to happen, but the whole country came together as one. And it's hard to believe 19 years later, we're split in half again on all these on many, many topics. And that's why I don't want to talk about that stuff. It sucks. I want to talk about Packers Vikings.
But
unify the Viking fans and the Packer fans together.
There you go.
Till 3:30 when the Packers kick the crap out of the Vikings at the end.
Hey, we got some positives from Mo here. He got blasted a little bit early on Rick says, at least you have a good taste in beer, Eric. So there you go.
Appreciate that.
Also, okay, Ben, Liberty Brew tonight. Okay, one other thing happened in the world of sports that really needs to be given attention, because I think it was yesterday, it was National Suicide Awareness Day. And I don't know how this coincided or whatever, but Dak Prescott did a recent lengthy interview with Graham Bensinger, who does this in-depth interview that's like an hour long, which is he took my job. I really wanted that job. I want to sit down with athletes and people that are interesting for like an hour long and just talk to them and do interview episodes and put those out. Oh, sorry, Ben. No, not that you guys aren't interesting. Stop it now. Come on. No. That's
not. Talk to me for an hour. Are you saying I'm not interesting?
No, we're just not athletes, Ben. We're not athletes.
Hey, speak for yourself, Mo. I got some skills.
Hey, Ben, turn your microphone up a little bit if you can.
I can't.
If you can. I'm worried you're a little too quiet here. Okay. Anyway. All right.
Really?
If Mo and I are way too loud, way louder than Ben, let us know in the chat, because we can't hear it.
That's the way it should be. That's the way it should be.
Okay. All right.
I don't know if I can.
That's right. It's not a concert. In concert, Ben always has his mic up the loudest. That's the way he likes it. If we were singing. Okay. But this is actually a really serious thing. So Skip Bayless, who should have been fired for many, many stupid things that he said in the world in the history of time, he decides to, after Dak Prescott in this interview talks about depression. And he talked about feeling anxiety and having some depression bouts and things like that. Especially during, the quarantine and pandemic and isolation and some of these times. And as it also turns out, his brother was suspected to have died of a suicide in April as well. So he's openly talking about this stuff, which is really brave, because mental health issues and depression is a very serious thing, and it should be talked about. It's when we put the stigma on it, we don't talk about it, and we try to cover it up, and people don't want to talk to other people. That's when bad things can happen. And Skip Bayless blasted Dak Prescott for not being a strong enough leader. It shows weakness and some other garbage that he had to say, which I wanted to get it exactly right, but it's not even worth it. It was such trash. So the moral of the story is, if you say something about feeling that way publicly, it does help other people be brave enough to talk about it too, and not think that they should just bury it or cover it up or are too embarrassed to talk about it. And it also, the other moral of the story is, Skip Bayless should be fired. So apparently I read some things that his contract is only through the end of this month. So I don't know if Fox will just let it run out and move on, or if they actually fire him, but I wouldn't expect to see Skip Bayless on the air for very much longer, which we can all applaud for that. All right. On to.
Wait, I gotta say something.
Oh, you got something about Skip Bayless? Okay, go ahead.
Am I louder now?
Yeah.
Yes, you're better. You're better.
I was only at 18 for my volume. I moved it to 40. Does that help?
Maybe.
Okay, sweet.
Unless you plan on yelling. If you plan on yelling, you'll be louder. That's always
eventually I will yell, but that's not what's gonna happen now.
All right, go ahead.
As far as the Skip Bayless stuff, this guy has been talking stupid crap for years and years and years and years and years. So, and he's been offensive and a jerk and a moron forever. So I don't really think this is going to change anything from what he said to what he didn't say. And I know what he said. I think that Dak Prescott is courageous for what he said, going out there and saying, that he's, had issues with his just anxiety and depression and things like that. And talking about his brother, and that his brother had the same feelings, and that's what led to his death. And those are things that, if people need to seek help, I think Dak coming out and talking about it is a way for him to say, hey, even a super high profile quarterback in the NFL, when they know they need help, they seek help. If they can do it, anybody can go and seek help if they need it. And that's why it's super awesome that Dak came out and said that. And as far as Skip Bayless goes, he's going to say a bunch of dumb crap, and that's just what he does. He's trying to be a jerk. And if anything, and if they fire him, who cares? The dumbest part is he'll get a job someplace else, no matter what happens. And the other thing that I really hate is, and this is something that's been happening for everybody lately is this cancel culture stuff, which I am totally against. People say stupid stuff and do stupid things. And now in this world, every stupid thing you say and do is brought to light 5 times worse than it is and picked apart by everybody. And as dumb as Skip Bayless is, and as stupid and jerky as the stuff he says, and as insensitive as they are, that's what he believes at the time when he says it. And people that go after people and try to get them canned and fired and all this other stuff for things that they do, I don't agree with that. So that's one thing I disagree with you on, Jason, is I don't listen to Skip. If you don't want to, they can keep having it on TV. I haven't watched Skip Bayless in years. I don't even care. So it doesn't affect me at all. So I would only know about this because you sent me the thing to look at. Otherwise, I don't care. They can put him on there. Matter of fact, by them putting him on there, it makes me not watch because I like Shannon Sharp. I mean, he's
Sterling
crazy.
Sharp's brother. You gotta like him. Sterling Sharp was
if it was Shannon Sharp and Sterling Sharp, I'd be tuning in constantly for that.
Sharp brothers talking Packers.
But
I'm just
Shannon
putting
Sharp
it out there.
Skip
Sharp
Bayless, I don't care.
brothers talking Packers should be.
Not only that, Skip Bayless on his original show he was on got replaced with Nick McFarland's twin brother, and therefore I would much rather watch Nick McFarland's twin brother than watch Skip. So I don't care. And I don't want to see any more cancel culture crap where people are trying to take people down for things they say. And another reason is I'm a big fan of comics, right? A bunch of comics, like Bill Burr and Dave Chappelle and all these guys. And even Chappelle and Bill Burr, like, I don't even know, like, I don't care anymore. But it's like, it's impossible to even tell a joke anymore. Because every like person, like one person takes the freaking offense to a dumb joke. It's like, it's a joke. Like, and then their career is over if they say something that people don't like. And I've said this to you. And I know, this might be bad.
Dude, why are you going down this road?
Because you has a star. I told you didn't want to talk about this stuff. This is the thing that bothers me too.
All right.
And I'm not saying like okay, very important. I believe any player should be able to do whatever they want to do for the national anthem or whatever. We saw last night. The whole Houston Texans team stayed in the freaking locker room. They didn't even come out for the national anthem, which I actually think was a pretty smooth move because there's nothing there. They didn't come out. Now, some people would be like, well, they didn't even come out for the national anthem, blah, blah, blah. I'm one of the people who believes why in the crap are we even playing the national anthem before sport events? It's an entertainment thing. Do they play the national anthem before a concert? Nope. Do they play a national anthem before a live, comedy show? No. So why do the sporting events have to have the national anthem all the time? I get it if it's a school.
I asked you that too.
Is a the country or a public school is a public country, whatever, blah blah blah. Then maybe you do it. I get it. Gives a little kid, a 16-year-old kid, a chance to sing the national anthem or whatever. That's fine. But also, but anyways, what I'm getting to is this: when people are kneeling for the national anthem, I understand why people get angry about it. I get it. And I see how they think that it's disrespectful, even though repeatedly the players and other people have said it has nothing to do with disrespecting the flag or disrespecting the country. It's about trying to make awareness of the police brutality and all this other stuff. But my only pushback is this. If something is something that offends somebody, and we know that it offends them, is it not insensitive to keep doing the thing that is offensive to them when you don't have to? When you could do other things to bring awareness to the subject in the topic that you've done it. To be honest, kneeling is a 4-year-old thing now. It happened 4 years ago. Why would that still be something that's important? I don't know, or to do it, other than to make people mad, in my opinion. And I agree with what the players are doing as far as like, I think they should be able to say whatever they want and do whatever they want. And I agree that there's been a problem. And I've said that many, many times. But it's the same thing as with like the Washington football team. They changed their name, and it took them until finally now when they're like donors and the people that give them their money finally said, we're not going to give you money anymore. And then they're like, oh, okay, well, we'll change the name. But for years, it was offensive to the Native Americans for years and years and years. And they said it's offensive to us. And they were like, we don't care. We're not going to do it for you. We don't care. We're not going to do it for you. but it's offensive to those people. Maybe it's 15% of America that's offensive to, but it's offensive to them. So change the name. And it's the same type of thing that I'm going to say about the national anthem and kneeling. It's not offensive to me personally, but it is offensive to some people who are very, have a strong military background or really believe in their country, and they think that it's an offensive act. So why can't the players do it a different way? And I agree with the players' protest. I think they're right. But I also think there's a different way to do it that wouldn't offend people. And that's just where I'm going with it. And I don't want people to think that I'm like, against kneeling at the national anthem. I'm just, or I guess I'm not either way. It doesn't matter to me personally, but I can see how it matters to other people, even though they're repeatedly told, hey, we're not doing this to disrespect your flag or disrespect your stuff, but those people, it's perception is reality for all people, no matter where you are, no matter where you come from. And that's something where I wish that the players would either come up with a different plan or do something that's not offensive to everybody. That's all. And still get their message out there one way or another. That's all. Back to you.
All right. The only thing I'll say is, the national anthem has been used throughout history for demonstration pieces. And it's, in the Olympics, we've seen it with black athletes. We've seen it, a number of times. So I don't think it's going to be all of a sudden something that people in sports shy away from, especially because it is, like we talked about, it's in the beginning of every sporting event. And again, I don't know the history on that. I'd question it. Like you brought up that question. I think I posed that question to you first. I've been wondering that for a while. Like, why is the national anthem played before sporting events? I don't get it. For the Olympics, I get it. But for like professional sports and play, where it's a business, I don't get it. But beside the point, I think the Packers will do a demonstration. I think from what I've been seeing, I think it's going to be a fist in the air from what I've been seeing.
Yeah, I've been seeing a lot on the pictures. Yeah.
A lot of that too. So I think you're going to see probably fists in the air from the Packers. And that is something that athletes in the past have done during the anthem as well to bring attention. So Eric, if you have any thoughts, go for it. Otherwise we will move on.
Well, I'm fine with moving on. I know that the Vikings have like a whole slate of things they're doing for the game too, especially with George Floyd and everything else going on that happened in Minneapolis. So I know they're doing a bunch of dedications to that too, and I think rightfully so. I think it's an important thing to acknowledge, and especially for where it happened and really how it affected everyone everywhere. So I just know that they're doing that, and I'll be looking forward to seeing what they do there.
All righty.
We'll keep our eyes peeled and see what happens. But either way, there's football on Sunday. There was football last night, and that game was fine. It was interesting. They had kind of one of those, they allowed a small capacity in their stadium. There's going to be no fans at the Viking stadium, as far as I know, right, on Sunday? Yep. So that's good because
sad about that.
Well, they won't be all disappointed when they lose, but that's a good thing for them in at least one respect, Eric.
No, so obviously as a season ticket holder, I want to be there. I mean, this is the game you want to go to. This is, and I don't, and I can get into it, but I feel like you lose a whole bunch of home field advantage when you don't have fans there, especially US Bank Stadium. There's all the glass, everything reverberates. It's really loud. And it's hard on offense for opposing teams, and that's really going to be an advantage for the Packers. It's not going to be the same atmosphere, and there's not going to be the same energy, and they'll pump in noise, but it's not going to be the same. So, I'm disappointed about that. I'm disappointed.
I understand. I'm sorry to rib you a little bit there, but yeah, it's going to be a weird scenario. The Packers don't have fans for their first two home games for sure. We'll see what else happens. As we've seen different things, but they are going to play football, and it seems like they've got at least all that down. So Eric, now there was some recent news. One of your big time guys is put on IR officially, right? So tell us about that.
Yeah. Daniil Hunter, the whole time during training camp, Zimmer just kept saying he has a tweak and they're just being cautious. And then the next thing we know, he's on the IR, which the new IR rules say that, he'll miss the first 3 weeks. He's eligible to come back for game 4 if he's ready. So, which would be better than the pup. So I guess that's why they did it that way. Last I heard, it's a bit of a neck injury. So it makes sense that they would be cautious with that. I have no idea how it happened, but he hasn't practiced at all. So I'm really glad they made that trade for Ngakoue. So that helps quite a bit. Maybe they knew that before, and that's why they did it. It kind of looks that way. So they have some more depth there. But it's a bummer because I think about to put it in your perspective, it would be like the Packers losing Zadarius Smith in terms of production, pressures, sacks. I mean, they're very similar players that way, and that's just it's a big player to lose on defense, and especially for this game, I'm not very happy about it. So,
well,
thanks for bringing it up, though.
I'm super happy.
We're happy because we got some right tackle problems.
Yeah, no,
we got some other stuff going on, Eric. So that helps the Packers out a lot in this first game.
It does. I mean, but before they traded for Ngakoue, his first name is pronounced Yannick. It looks like Yannick, but he says it Yannick, just so you know.
That's
Yannick
good.
Ngakoue.
I was actually going to ask you if you do that because the national guys all say Yannick.
Yeah.
A whole bunch of other people say Yannick, and I'm like, I don't know. That's what I've been saying.
I just heard him
Yannick.
say his name like, "Hey, this is Yannick Ngakoue." So he said it.
Okay.
He says it. That's how he says it.
But hey, it's him. He should know how to say his own name. Hey.
Well, Brett Favre couldn't say his own last name, so but that's fine. Anyway, it's Favre. It's a French name. Come on. Anyway, so fortunately they got him, but before they got him, it was going to be Nvidia Dadabo. So both these guys have these names that are really hard to say, but he had like 7.5 sacks last year in limited time. So I think they were looking for him to maybe start before they made the trade. So they have some depth there, but it's not going to be Danielle Hunter. So I don't know. I think that without the fans there, I don't feel very great about this. I feel like everything's kind of tipping in the wrong direction here a little bit. So, I'm not trying to go in. I just, it's just because I know that when the Vikings go to Green Bay, they'll probably have fans by then. Maybe not, but probably. And that doesn't seem very fair. But I think it is what it is. And I'm hoping it's going to be a good game anyway. And I just don't know what it's going to be like without fans there. It's going to be kind of weird.
I mean, it's got to be weird for these guys. It's got to be the most weird for the players, right? Because these guys have been playing in front of how many thousands of people for the last, I mean, all throughout college. Most of them came from major college programs. And a lot of them played in high school situations where you had crazy amounts of fans too. So they probably are not, I mean, it's been 10 plus years for almost all of them, sometimes 15, 20 years, maybe for some of these guys where they have played games with hardly anybody there or no fans there. That's going to be weird for sure, but they still got to play football. And I think, again, we talked about the communications things that'll advantages for the road team. And in this case, it benefits the Packers a bit. But it's still kind of one of those things where I think once they get playing and focusing on the game and playing football, it'll be okay. I didn't notice a huge difference for the players specifically in the basketball the NBA has been playing, and it's a similar situation. And I'm sure the NFL is going to do something creative too, like pulling in virtual fans and having things like that on the big board and stuff like that. So, they'll do what they can there. Well, I want to know what people in the chat are thinking. Like, okay, so first game of the year, Packers Vikings. When we saw that in the schedule, we were excited about it to begin with. But what are you guys excited about? What are you most excited about seeing in this first game? I want to know from people in the chat. You guys can fill us in on that while we go to Ben, what he's most excited about. We'll ask Eric what he's most excited about. Ben, what are you most excited about in this game?
Well, I think what it is to see how the Packers are going to utilize all these different guys that nobody believes in, who all offseason they kept saying how we need to get a guy, we need to get more weapons, need to get more weapons, need to get more weapons. And I'm looking at it and I'm seeing we drafted a running back in the second round and a tight end in the third round. And they're both fourth on the depth chart. So if both of those second and third round picks are fourth on the depth chart, what kind of talent did we have here already that wasn't able to be seen because Jimmy Graham and Geronimo were here? Now they're gone. Robert Tonyan is going to destroy people, especially on that surface in Minneapolis. His speed is going to be probably shocking. And I don't even think Eric Hendricks could cover him. That's all I'm saying there. Also, we all know about Aaron Jones on that surface. The Vikings are so scared of Aaron Jones on that surface. They don't know what to do. And now Daniil Hunter's not there. And Ngakoue is 249 pounds at defensive end. We've got 3 outside linebackers that all weigh 25 pounds more than he does. How does that even happen? I don't know. But a 6'2", 249-pound defensive end, let's just run right at him. Oh, I don't even care where he is. If he's over on the right, run to the right. If he's on the left, run to the left. Run right at that little tiny guy. And let Blag, or oh my God, I almost said Blag. Bakhtiari, Lane Taylor, Jenkins, Corey Lindsley, and whoever the crap plays right tackle, just run right over that guy. Plus, the Vikings, they went and signed that big defensive tackle guy from the Ravens. They're like, woo-hoo, woo-hoo. And then he said, nah, I don't want to play this year. So they don't got a big guy in the middle because they let Lenville Joseph go. So they're like, we thought this guy's going to be the guy. He didn't want to play. So let's run it up the gut too. I don't even know who the Vikings got on the defensive line. They got a guy who weighs 249 pounds and a bunch of nobodies. Let's run it right at him. Let's run it right through him. Let's A.J. Dillon him. Let's Aaron Jones him. I'm telling you, what I'm excited to see is a Packer team that runs for 250 yards against the Vikings defense, the big, tough Vikings defense with a bunch of skinny guys and no names on the defensive line. Eric Hendricks can only go so far. I mean, I know he's a great middle linebacker, but he's one guy. They got a bunch of rookies at corner. Who the heck are these guys? I don't know.
Ben, I asked you for one thing you were excited about.
That's what I'm excited for. The running game. That's what I'm excited for.
All right, Eric, did you happen to watch our show where I gave the Packers the best new formation they could possibly run? Or even see the clip? I broke it out into a clip. Did you see it?
I didn't see it. I'm sorry.
The top secret, not top secret, because I told the Packers what to do on our show. Formation, which was a center, 2 guards on each side of the center, and 2 tackles outside of those 2 guards. 1 wide receiver, Aaron Jones and Aaron Rodgers in the backfield. That's it.
That's not enough players.
No, it's a perfect amount of players. And it's a perfect formation to run in this game. Now, what Ben is alluding to
he's got 7 offensive linemen. You're right. It's not enough players.
Oh, we have a tight end. That's right. Sternberger's in there. Sternberger's there. Yeah. He's in there. One other guy to throw the ball to. Okay.
And Bulaga's tackle eligible, and the other tackle is actually not a tackle.
Bulaga. Why are you talking about Bulaga? Stop it.
What is wrong?
That's it. You're muted. You're muted.
What is
I'm
wrong
muting
with
you.
me?
No, I'm muting you, Jesse. You get 30-second timeout, penalty box for saying Brian Bulaga's name twice. And what is wrong with you? You hammered for getting rid of Bulaga. You led the charge, the quest for Brian Bulaga out of town for how many years? And now you can't stop saying his name. All right, you're unmuted now. Unmuted. Oh, I'm asking you to unmute. I'm sorry. I've never done that to anybody before. Unmute, please. Sorry, Ben. I'm just playing around. Oh, okay. All right, fine. Anyway, here's the point. We got to get it. We did get some response from people, which I'm excited about. Okay. Some of them, I think, took this a little wrong. I wanted to know what they're excited to see. Kyle, who's on tonight, Kyle, how you doing? Says he's excited to see wideouts. He's wondering what's going to happen with 2 through 4 for the Packers wide receivers. That is an interesting one. Now, Lazard is going to be good, but how much has MVS's camp really shown the Packers that they might, I don't know, maybe MVS is going to get a bunch of playing time. We'll find out. Bernard takes it a whole nother direction. Bernard, I didn't want to know what you were worried about, but Bernard's like, I hope Cook don't go off. Well, yeah, we hope so too. But that's what Ben's alluding to. Ben's expecting to see 80% rushing attempts from both teams. He wants the Packers to run 80% of the time, and the Vikings are going to do the same because the Packers' run defense is terrible. We all know that. So you could see it. How about this? Let's make a bet over under number of pass attempts for Kirk Cousins and Aaron Rodgers in this game. Eric Gardner, what number do you put at that?
Both combined?
Yeah, combine them.
I'd say I maybe put it around 50. To be honest with you.
Kirk Cousins 10 pass attempts and Aaron Rodgers 40. I like that. All right. Actually, flip that. That's what it's going to be. It's probably seriously.
Dude, Aaron Rodgers is not throwing the ball.
I know.
10 times. He's throwing it at least 25 times.
No, I said 40 for him. 40 for him.
Yeah, I know. You said flip it. You said.
I know.
We should flip it.
Anyway, it could be really weird. They could run a whole bunch. All right. Especially if Aaron Jones gets off good and they want to use AJ Dillon. All right. Rick says Edge goes to the pack. AR should come out slinging the ball. We'll see a good number of runs. And he expects Minnesota will be able to establish the run, but won't be enough to carry them. The Packers defense will rattle Kirk. That's Rick's predictions. Okay. All right. Full on game prediction. That's recap. You don't even have to watch the game. Rick just told you what's going to happen. Bernard says he hopes A-Rod goes off for 6 TDs. That'd be nice. That'd match his 1 game high or his single game high for his career. Why not 7 TDs? Let's do 7. Rick says ESPN has bold predictions for the season. One of them is AR winning MVP this year. I'm not sure why everybody's going on that. The Packers are going to run the ball a lot, and their offensive line is not built unless it's just based on incredible efficiency. Like he hits so many big play touchdowns, maybe. Mom, dad say, I can't wait to see Aaron Rodgers play. He's supposed to be on fire. Aaron Jones and Dillon running. They like that. And Nate says the Smith Bros with Clark will destroy the offensive line. No Danielle Hunter. Strong Packers coverage unit. That's what Nate's excited to see. So, knowing all of that, Eric Gardner, please make a case for your Vikings in this game because I'm a little worried for you.
Should we break this down into things? Like this against that and this against that.
All right,
just letting them go.
I got to catch people up because they might. Here they keep coming. Kyle says, "How can he win MVP if no one is there to catch the rock?" Kyle, Ben's told you about the receivers. He's told you about.
Kyle.
Call your friend. That's it. You guys need a sidebar.
MVS.
Tanyan's going to be awesome. Eric, are you worried about Bob Tanyan? Do you know him? Do you know his name?
So here's the thing. I'm not really worried, and I'll tell you why. Here's my bold prediction. It'll seem bold to you, but I think the Vikings secondary will be better than it was last year.
Well,
and I'm saying that because Xavier Rhodes just fell off a cliff. He was terrible. And Trey Waynes is, I guess kind of averages out. He makes some good plays. He makes some terrible ones, has a lot of penalties. And they aren't starting rookies on the outside because Ben obviously hasn't done his homework. They're starting Mike Hughes and Holton Hill.
Who's that?
They're both third-year players. Mike Hughes was a first-round pick. He had pick 6 his rookie year, and then he tore his knee. Came back last year and was recovering and started to do okay. So they have guys with some experience, and they do have 2 rookies that they really like a lot also, in Cameron Dantzler and Gladney, who was their first-round pick this year. So they have guys, and I figure they can't be any worse than they were at corner last year because it was bad. So I'm actually looking forward to seeing these young guys play. They still have 2 of probably the better safety tandems in the league to back them up. Until Danielle Hunter, they had a pretty good pass rush. I'm hoping they still have a good one, and 2 pretty good linebackers in Kendrick and Barr. So they have guys around them, but I know they're going to be talking about these young corners, but they're third-year players, and I think they'll do good. I think they'll be better than what we saw last year. And that's what I'm looking forward to see the most. It is a bummer about Danielle Hunter. You need a guy like that in a game like this. You want, especially first game of the season, everyone at full strength, just kind of see where you're at. But that's just the game and how it is. And if it is his neck, I want him to be careful because he's still only 25 years old. So you got to be careful with a guy like that. But I'll enlighten you a little bit with the defense and the interior as well. So losing the nose tackle was big to a COVID-19 opt-out. They have some young guys that played quite a bit, but obviously Linval Joseph left in free agency, or I guess they let him go. So, but they have some guys that have been playing for a while. You won't know them, and that's okay. But I'm interested to see how they hold up as well. And also Gary Kubiak is now the offensive coordinator. He was like the offensive assistant head coach person last year, and now took over. So there'll be some continuity with the offense for the first time in a while. I think the offensive line is better than it was last year. I'm looking forward to seeing how that offense runs. And Ben, this is for you. I'm really looking forward to seeing Justin Jefferson because I want to see what he can do. And without any preseason games, it's been really, you're just looking for little clips of, how he did this in practice. And, but I'm just looking for him to prove Ben wrong. And I'd like to point out that Ben made the most preposterous statement in the history of the world, saying that Justin Jefferson was the third best option on his own team in college, which is ridiculous. It's just ridiculous.
He was.
Ben.
He was. Watch the tape.
Can I explain why that's the most preposterous statement I've ever heard in my entire life?
Because he had a bunch of catches.
He had 118 catches, over 1,500 yards, and 18 touchdowns last year.
Yes, he did.
How is that the third option on any team?
I'll tell you why. Because what did you watch? Did you watch some of the game film?
Of what? Averaging 1.2 touchdowns a game? What is that bad?
Have you watched the game film? I watched 3 games of LSU, and I'm telling you, he was not the number one option on any of those plays. Now, here's where I take over, Mo. This is where you lose it. Here's the thing, bro. I watched Justin Jefferson. You know when he's made his best plays? His best plays were when they broke down and Joe Burrow was running around and throwing it to him. Right? When is Kirk Cousins the worst? When the play breaks down. How can Justin Jefferson, who's best when the play breaks down, when his quarterback is worst when the play breaks down, how does that coexist? It doesn't coexist, Mo. It's not going to work, bro. I mean,
I think it will work out just fine. I think it'll be fine.
I hate to say it, but it's true.
Okay.
It's true. Plus, from what I hear, he's not starting at wide receiver. He's starting in the slot. And if he started in the slot, that means he's going to be covered by one Chandon Sullivan, who is the Packers' secret weapon. The guy who is like glue. And Justin Jefferson, when he was in college, he had a 9-yard go route. He had nobody. He never went up against man coverage or press coverage. Once he just sat there and the guys just let him run. Chandon Sullivan ain't going to let him do that. Chandon Sullivan's going to beat the snot out of him. He's going to jam him. He's going to shove him. He's going to elbow him. He's going to punch him in the face. He might get a penalty for that one, but that's okay. I am not worried about Justin Jefferson. Okay. Those 2 reasons. Kirk Cousins is one of my favorite quarterbacks when running the play. He can run a play, man. He's got a beautiful pass. He can play action. When everything works out great, he is awesome. But when that play doesn't work, he looks like deer in headlights. He's scared to death, and he's not a Joe Burrow. And Justin Jefferson is not a guy who's great, doesn't run great routes, doesn't get open on his own unless he's got a wide open cushion. And I got a feeling if he's ever looking for him, it's going to have to be when the play breaks down. And Kirk Cousins not so good when the play breaks down. I have another question for you.
Okay.
Oh, you're screwing up my segue.
Okay, what?
I was going to say, but you know what Kirk Cousins is good at?
Oh, no.
He's much better at throwing the football than the MVP, Lamar Jackson, or Deshaun Watson, because he made him look like chumps in the Pro Bowl throwing competition last year. He was like way better than those guys. Ridiculous. Kirk Cousins, I like him. All right. Nate says, I don't get this one before you go into it. Nate says, boy, oh boy, Shamar Stephen will stop Aaron Jones, David Bakhtiari, Elton Jenkins, and Corey Linsley. How does that one guy, who is that, first of all, and how would they stop all those guys? I don't get it.
Shamar Stephen, he plays both 3 technique and the nose tackle for the Vikings. So he's kind of been a long time guy. He's a good technical player. And I think they like him better at the nose anyway. He'll be playing at the nose. It's kind of their plan B there. So he's a solid player, but he's not like the prototypical nose tackle type guy. He's not like 350-pound beast that can move. He's just more of a technical, strong guy kind of a thing. But
you guys, but the Vikings usually play a 4-down lineman, right?
Yep.
They don't ever play a 3-down lineman, so he should have
it. Ben, tell Eric what we got. We got Kenny Clark, which he knows. And then we have
nothing.
Who do we have after that?
Nobody.
We got Kingsley Keke, 6th-round pick from last year, our 5th rounder, who is 288 pounds, going to play the 3 tech, or sometimes
he's the backup to Lancaster.
Yeah. He's too He only is 11 pounds more than Rashawn Gary, who is on the outside. I don't get it. Ben
Well, I was
and
going to
talked
ask,
about it
well,
last time.
I actually been poking around on YouTube and I found this one guy who is a big Vikings guy who does YouTube stuff. It's pretty funny. I was laughing my butt off today. Anyways, he seems to be convinced that Anthony Barr should be playing defensive end, especially with Hunter hurt. And that you guys should be having Wilson, whoever this Wilson guy is, play alongside Kendricks and then play nickel defense against the Packers most of the time for some unknown reason. But he's thinking Anthony Barr should not be playing defensive end. They should just let him go crazy, or not outside linebacker. He says they're wasting his talents and that he should just be going after, because that's what he played in college, was defensive end.
Well, actually, in college, okay, go ahead.
No, you're okay. Well, I'll just say Anthony Barr is 255. Gakwe is 249. The Packers got guys 277, 272, 268 at outside linebacker.
That's some high BMI at linebacker position there, it sounds like. But
Packers, they don't know what they're doing. Up to you.
Well, actually, Anthony Barr played running back in college before he was converted to a defensive end at UCLA, and because he's a good athlete. And they talked about that a lot. He's probably a better suited 3-4 outside linebacker, because of his pass rushing skills, and that's fine. And they do send him. But here's the thing. I don't know if you guys know this or not, but do you guys remember someone by the name of Dom Capers? You guys remember him?
Oh, yes.
Okay. So did you know that,
I know.
Mike Zimmer hired Dom Capers as a special consultant this offseason? Did you guys hear about that? Okay.
Oh, yeah. We were solely excited.
Yeah, I figured. Well, I don't think they brought him in for coverage ideas. We'll put it that way. But I think that because that's more Zimmer's thing. But he did like how he had different blitz packages, and he wanted to incorporate some 3-4 things to put in some different looks. So you might see some 3-4s where I think you could use an Anthony Barr more in that realm as well. And the Vikings, they did sign a number of guys, and they have some guys that like a Jalen Holmes, who they moved outside to defensive end. He played outside a defensive end at Ohio State, who's more of a run stopping guy. So I think they're going to try to mix in those packages, and they'll have to obviously adjust to what they're seeing in the running game. And, I'm curious to see how well they're going to stop the run with some guys out in the line. So you need to have those guys step up, and I don't know how they're going to scheme around that, but obviously, Bakhtiari is really good at holding and getting away with it too. So I think you got to watch those outside runs. I mean, hey, he gets away with it, so it's all fair. But it'll be interesting to see kind of what the defense looks like. And it's been weird because there's no preseason game, so I think there's a lot of things that we don't know. And you haven't heard maybe a lot about a guy, or maybe you heard a lot about a guy and he's not really going to do anything. And because it's the same as preseason games. You see guys who do great things, and then you don't see them in the regular season, Mr. August and whatever. So it's kind of hard to know what to expect. But with some missing pieces, I guess you as meaning Viking fans, you hope that defense can hold up and put some pressure on Rodgers and see what's going to happen here. But the offense, I think, is going to need to go blow for blow for sure.
It's weird. I'm listening to you guys talk, and it's like I don't see if the teams can be disciplined. I don't see why there isn't going to be kind of like a 60-40 run pass distribution of the offensive plays in this game. Like, if we know the Packers run defense is terrible, it was terrible last year. They did absolutely nothing to improve it this year in terms of getting any good defensive linemen to help out. They have their other defensive tackles other than Kenny Clark, who played like 1,000 snaps last year, are way too light. Zadarius Smith, Preston Smith, those guys against the run are definitely not as good as they are against the pass. And then the Vikings defense seems to be very similar. So I'm telling you, I don't know. This might be the least passes thrown in a Packers game in a number of years in this opening game.
It should be. I don't know if it will, but it should be. I mean, that's what I would try to do. But I mean, you never know how it's going to play out. But sometimes the game dictates what you can do with the running game, and early success certainly helps. But they would be smart, I think, for both coaches to stick to it, the run as much as possible. I think.
Ben's fantasy team. Your fantasy team likes that, Ben.
Andy Reid. He ran the ball more than he passed it last night. Andy Reid, the guy who used to run like 30% and pass 70% with the Eagles. Pat Mahomes only had 211 yards passing or something last night. So it can be happening if you want to win, you do what you're going to do to win. And that's very important. Now, did you hear by chance what Preston Smith said about the run defense, Jason?
No, I'm
in the Smith brothers interview. Oh,
tell me you gave me some hope.
They asked, it's not going to give you hope. They asked him, what did you guys, they didn't say, okay, because they know they don't want to know, they're not going to give any information, but they're like, okay, is there something that happened differently in preparing for this year during camp that's different from last year to improve the run defense? Because you guys didn't get anybody to help. You have pretty much the same guys and all that kind of stuff. Don't show that Viking thing again. And therefore, what happened? And Preston Smith said that it's just discipline. He said that they were screwing stuff up. They were in the wrong place and doing the wrong things. In the NFC Championship game, they were missing assignments, apparently. He didn't say the NFC Championship game specifically, but when talking about the problem with the run defense, he said it's just knowing your assignment and doing what you're supposed to do, and that they didn't always do that last year. The Smith brothers and the defense as a whole didn't do what they're supposed to do.
Well, that's like the token answer, right? Oh, we didn't fill our gaps. We didn't, do our assignment. So you didn't fill a gap. So that's why that's what people say all the time about run defense.
Okay, but that's not what I'm saying is this is the thing that scares me, Mo, as a Packer fan. At the Super Bowl, they interviewed Zadarius Smith and they asked him what happened in the NFC Championship game. And Zadarius Smith said, "Yeah, we just weren't ready. We weren't ready for the NFC Championship. They weren't prepared. They weren't ready for the NFC Championship game." And now Preston says they weren't doing their assignments right. Guys were not doing what they're supposed to be doing.
That's concerning.
What the hell is that? These are you paid big money to get these two guys to lead your team, and they weren't prepared, and they weren't doing their jobs, and they weren't ready. Where the Super Bowl, right after that, they interviewed Aaron Jones, and they asked Aaron Jones, they said, "Yeah, Zadarius Smith was just on here," and he said, "You guys weren't ready for the game. You guys weren't up for the game." And Aaron Jones is like, "I was ready." And he was ready. He was the only guy in that game that was ready to play, Aaron Jones. That's coaching. That's what scares me. Because you could be, especially when you watch those games against the run, they couldn't stop anybody. And that's why you should be happy, Mo, because when the Packers played the Vikings in Week 16, there was no Dalvin Cook in that game. I don't even think was Madison even in that game.
No, it was third string. That's
Mike what I'm saying.
Mike Boone.
Yeah, the Booner.
Yeah.
So now they're both back, and they're on a surface that benefits Dalvin Cook's speed.
Mm-hmm.
And if the Packers don't do their assignments, which I don't think that's all the problem, I think it's more than that. Mm-hmm. So that's the part that scares me. It's not just that he said, "Oh, we just didn't do our assignments." They didn't do anything else. They just told them to do their assignment right instead of not doing it right. And that's going to just magically fix the run defense.
All right, Ben, hang on here. One, Rick's got a jab for you. He said that rookie back looked dang good last night.
Yeah, I know.
Sorry about that. Ben was hoping he'd slide to him at pick 4 in HFF draft, but he went at pick 1. And because we had a keeper league and a lot of guys kept their first round picks, and Ben was hoping he'd get that guy, but he didn't.
Yeah.
All All right. So Rick also says the edge guys would push up so far they take themselves out of the play. Yes, that happens.
That's
and
what
it
they
also, did. And it fits with what Blake Martinez said, right? Is like, let the Smiths kind of freelance and do their stuff. And then
that's the thing.
Clean it up.
They worried about their sacks. They're worried about their sack numbers instead of doing what they're supposed to do. And that can't be what you're, and you can do that if you play a 3-4 right with 3 defensive linemen, and then those 2 guys go and run and do their thing. But they don't do it because they play them at defensive end, because they play like a weird hybrid thing where those guys aren't playing as outside linebackers. They're playing at defensive ends. So if they, don't contain and try to outrun their guy to the outside, it leaves a big, giant, gaping hole that Blake had to try to clean up all the time. And he can't clean up for everybody. And now he's not there anymore. And those are the things that are concerning to me as a Packer fan. And I could see Dalvin Cook running all over the place.
That's like having 2 Blake. That's like having 2 Clay Matthews on the field at the same time.
Right.
I mean, it is, because that's what he did. The difference is Clay Matthews, for most of his career, was relentless and would still come back and get in on the play a lot of times until the later years. And Preston Smith does not have that kind of speed to do that. If he goes upfield and guesses and misses, he's out of the play. He's done. Zadarius might track a guy down. Preston Smith, if he comes upfield too far and gets out of the play, he's out of the play. That's it. So it's worse than having 2 Clay Matthews,
Well, the only good thing is I have a question for Mo too.
All right.
That guy I was watching, I found, the Vikings fan, was very not happy about the guards for the Vikings. He's saying they both stink, like really bad, like they are terrible, terrible, terrible. And he said there was supposed to be an open competition, but they never actually had open competition. He said they drafted Ezra Cleveland in the 2nd round, and he was a tackle. Then they decided to move him to left guard, but they never gave him a chance to start or even compete for the left guard starting spot. So his concern is the 2 guards for the Vikings. He's okay with the center, even though he said Kenny Clark destroyed him last year.
He did.
But he thinks this year he'd be a little better. But he said the guards are very scary. Is that what you think? Are the guards a little bit of a weakness on the Vikings offensive line?
Yeah, and I'm just, so here's the thing. There's Pat Elflein. So he's a 3rd round pick out of Ohio State. They drafted him more as a center. They started him as center his rookie year, and then moved him to left guard. But he played most of his time at right guard at Ohio State, except for his senior year, he played center. So he was pretty bad at left guard last year. He's a good run blocker, but for a guard, not a good pass blocker. And so they moved him back to right guard this year, his natural position. Said he feels more comfortable, whatever. So you just hope that the position change helps him. And then let's leave an opening at left guard, and they have Dakota Dozier over there. So he was a reserve last year, played pretty well in reserve time. He competed with another guy, Avante Collins, who ended up getting cut and then put in the practice squad. But Ezra Cleveland is a tackle who had never played guard before. So to say he didn't get a chance to compete there, I think is unfair. I think he did and looked like a tackle trying to play guard who hasn't played guard before. So I just don't think he was ready to do that. So, and he was drafted to play tackle eventually anyway. So it is what it is. And I think I really like actually one of the other backups, Drew Samia, but he plays more right guard, right tackle. So I don't know. They got some depth there, but they need some guys to step up. I'm hoping the position change helps, and we'll just have to see. But I don't think it'll be any worse because we had guard problems last year. So, but they're both good run blockers is the thing. It's the pass blocking that's the question. So as long as they can run the ball a lot and run it well, I think it'll be okay. But otherwise, I think it'll be largely the same. But the biggest thing to me actually is Bradbury at center. Is he looked kind of good after a while and then kind of regressed and rookie things and whatever. So I'm hoping that he got a lot stronger and is, maybe a game slowing down for him a bit this year, as they always say. But I'm hoping that he needs to be a lot better for them to be successful, I think.
Yeah, he got eaten up pretty bad, especially in the games against Packers. I think some other games too. Like you said, he kind of had his ups and downs. I was really high on that kid coming out of the draft. I actually wanted the Packers to draft him, and they didn't because they said, "Oh, Corey Linsley's good enough." And then I saw how bad he looked at times. I was like, "Well, I guess Corey Linsley is good enough," but who knows? Maybe that kid's getting better and all that good stuff. Now, Eric, you say hopefully the guys are doing better and all that stuff, but that's not what we're hoping. Just so you know,
Sure,
we're hoping they're just as bad as last time, and Zadarius Smith has like 5 sacks again. Which, Ben, I have to say, I think Zadarius Smith is my new favorite Packer player. I think. I watch his interviews. He's just so damn funny and nice. He's got that beard that makes me really envious. Like I can never grow a beard like that. It's just like fur totally covering his face. You can't even see his skin in there. There's no spotting. Mine is a lot of spotting if I try to grow a beard. And he's funnier than me. And I just like him. I just think he's a funny, cool, energetic guy who is good at football. I don't know how he was a part-time player in Baltimore for 4 years and never got to start, but man, that's the one thing. Whoever on the Packers team that kind of targeted him in college and wanted to get him and thought he was good, if that was actually Gutekunst, that's a one-time Gutekunst was right, because everything else he's been wrong about. But Zadarius Smith is awesome. So Zadarius, light him up this week, buddy. New favorite Packer, and you're wearing the right number. 55 has been the number of my favorite player at least a handful of times in Packers history.
I just think I would just really like to see the Vikings chip him a lot. I mean, they play enough. They play enough 2 tight end sets, and they have a fullback and CJ Ham. You got the guys that can. I mean, all you got to do is just chip him a couple times, just to kind of give that tackle an extra step or two. And I mean, you can't let a guy like that go one-on-one really with anybody. I mean, I might like him against O'Neal, but definitely not against Reef. And so and really, when you think about it, I'm most concerned about situations where a couple running plays don't work. You got a 3rd and long. You have to pass. It's got to be a normal drop back pass. It's not going to be a play action pass. And that's where the offensive line is at its weakest. That's where the Packers are at their best with their edges and then Clark coming up the middle to put pressure and collapse the pocket. And Jaheir Alexander's probably the best cover corner in the division, at least I would say. And a pair of pretty good safeties. I think Savage as a rookie was pretty good, and then Amos was a good player too. I mean they're pretty solid in the back end. I mean,
Eric, you're comparing them to HaHa Clinton Dix, who the Packers had previously. I understand they're way better than he ever was, but it's
solid play. It's solid play back there, right?
Okay.
So
right.
They're not the Harris brothers. The Harris brothers are way better.
You mean Harrison? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, the Harris brothers.
Well, obviously, yeah. I mean, they're pretty good, right? But that's the nightmare scenario that where, and then Kirk looks at his first option, it's not there, and then that's where I might panic more than he does. So because I don't, because what that's not going to be happening. He's going to get sacked, right? Because Kirk threw 6 picks last year. They said he had 9 plays that were interception worthy, and 6 of them got picked off or something.
That's not bad.
And right. So it's not like he takes a lot of chances. He just kind of eats it a lot. And
that's not bad, Eric, at all.
It's not.
Because if you remember way back, one of the years Brett Favre played and the Packers played a Tony Dungy led Tampa Bay team. I think it was like the 15th game of the year or something like that, 15th, 16th week of the season. And Tony Dungy said Brett Favre should have 74 interceptions right now through the season. He actually said that in a media press conference because he was tracking those things. He's like, yes, he should actually have 74 interceptions. So if he only should have had 9, that's much better than 74. I'm not good at math, but I get that part.
I know he threw one that hit Stephon Diggs right in the head, in the helmet, and should have been caught, but then was picked. Anyway, I think it just
Aaron
would
Rodgers
be nice.
Had one of those too.
It'd just be nice if you could buy enough time to at least throw the ball away in those scenarios. But he's not a terrible athlete, but he's obviously not, super fleet of foot compared to some other quarterbacks and everything. But anyway, that's my nightmare scenario. That's what I'm worried most about. And that's, I think, the situation that, at least from the Vikings perspective, they want to avoid the most.
All right. That leads me to, in the chat, I'm going to cover a couple comments quick, but I want you guys to think about and chime in. What are you most worried about for your team in this game? I know Nate's on here. He's a Vikings guy, I believe. He says the Vikings had enough draft capital to get Jerry Jeudy at number 16. He's disappointed at that. Rick, not disappointed at that, but did say that would have been a good move compared to getting Jefferson a few picks later. So anyway.
I actually was hoping that they would use some of their draft capital to trade up and get one of those top 4 offensive tackles, especially the one from, what's his name, the one from Iowa, and then kick Reef inside the left guard, and all of a sudden your guard situation looks a lot better. That's what I was hoping for, because in a deep wide receiver draft, I'm like, you can get a really good guy in the second round, easy. But it's fine. It is what it is now, and you just hope for the best. But NFL record with the 7-round draft, 15 picks, and 9 of them made the team. All the 6 and 7 round picks did not, but they are on the practice squad because there's like an expanded practice squad now. So all of them are still with the team in some capacity. So there's that.
Wow, 15 guys.
Wow, that is crazy. That is crazy. Hey Ben, tell Mo about how the Packers were saved. Their offensive line, even though we still have problems at right tackle, we were actually saved by one guy this year. Otherwise, it could be a big, huge mess. He probably doesn't know.
Do you know Mo?
Do you know who saved the Packers offensive line?
I don't know.
Well, see, once upon a time, we used to have a guy named TJ Lang and a guy named Josh Sitton,
right,
who held down the fort at guard for a long time, good 3, 4, or 5 years in a row.
Yep.
It was a close-knit group. And then everybody realized that Josh Sitton wasn't really that good. And right before the season, they cut him. And all the Packer fans are like, what? You cut Josh Sitton? Why would you do such a thing? And they are all having heart attacks. And then all of a sudden we got this guy named Lane Taylor. And they're like, who's this Lane Taylor guy? Why did they cut Josh Sitton? And then Lane Taylor played, and he was awesome. And then there was this game in Dallas, this one play where Aaron Rodgers needed to buy enough time so that slowpoke Jared Cook could run all the way and just like jog across the field, taking his time to get from one side all the way to the other side. And to do it, he needed a special escort. And the guy he chose for that special escort was Lane Taylor. That's right, Lane Taylor. And then he threw the pass, and Jared Cook caught it. And then Mason Crosby kicked the field goal, and the Packers made it into the NFC Championship game. And then they lost. But that's besides the point. Anyways, last year, Lane Taylor got hurt. He played like garbage. He looked terrible. And then they put him on IR, and they put in Jenkins, who was the 3rd-round draft pick, or 2nd-round draft pick, and he played great, and he was awesome. And we were like, yes, but we love Lane Taylor. And we thought they were going to let Lane Taylor go because they think Billy Turner's good. But Billy Turner ain't that good, especially at guard. So then the Packers said, hey, Lane Taylor, we like you, but we're jerks. So take a pay cut or you're gone. Just like the Vikings did to that guy on their offensive line this last couple weeks.
Yep.
And Lane Taylor said, okay, what am I going to do? Nobody else wants me. Sure. So he took the pay cut, came back, no guarantee to start, comes in at freaking camp. They put him at right guard, not left guard. He played left guard for the last 4 years before that. Put him at right guard, which turned out that was what he played all through high school and college as right guard. Not only did he play so dang good in camp, Mo, every single one-on-one drill he did this camp, he dominated in pass protection. He didn't get beat once. And that includes against Kenny Clark, the guy who destroyed your center. Therefore, we got Bakhtiari, we got Jenkins, we got Corey Lindsley, he's okay. We got Lane Taylor, and I have no freaking clue. But those 4 guys, we got confidence in. And all we got to do is help out. I don't know who the heck this guy is over here at right tackle because they're saying who's going to start.
I have a solution.
It's going to be Rick Wagner. But anyways.
I thought of this today. Ben, I thought of this today. I want to tell you. This is what
Neil
the
Hunter
Packers...
on IR? Is that the solution?
Yes, that helps too.
That's the best.
That helps too. That helps
really
too.
helps.
But here's what the Packers should do every time it's a pass play. Ready? Corey Lindsley normally doesn't block anybody anyway. Jenkins, he can block a guy one-on-one. Fine.
Yep.
Bakhtiari, Mo says he holds better than anybody in the league. Great.
Yeah, we're
Do
good.
it. Do it. All right, Lane Taylor, we know he's good. So Corey Lindsley, start out looking in the middle. Is anybody coming? No. Then he runs out to help the tackle, whoever that is, the right tackle. We don't. Is it Alex Light? Is it going to be, I don't know, Runyon, Bunyan? We don't know. We have no idea who it is. We don't know. But Billy Turner, I guess, is doubtful, but he was back at practice. I don't know what's happening, but he needs help too. If he's there, he needs help. So Corey Lindsley, just make sure nobody's coming up the middle. Those other three guys can handle their guy. You go out to the edge and help that tackle right away. Right away, dude. And then they will give Aaron Rodgers enough time for the 15 passes they're going to throw in the game because they're going to run 65 times. It's going to be awesome, and they will win. Packer victory. There it is.
Anyway, that was the long answer to say Lane Taylor's back, and you better look out, Mo.
He saved us. He saved us so much. That's a guy that they basically wrote off. They asked him to take a pay cut. They almost cut him. If he didn't take the pay cut, they would have got rid of him, and he's their starting right guard.
And he earned it.
Yeah.
Because they didn't want him. They wanted to give it to Billy Turner and start Rick Wagner at tackle. And Lane Taylor came in and freaking was so good. They're like, okay, you guys are fighting for right tackle. Because Lane Taylor is just too dang good. Because he is just too dang good. It ain't his fault he got hurt last year in his preseason, and then he started his first game and he stunk, and then they had to put him on IR. But it ended up working great because then we got Jenkins in there who has a whole year of experience. So, I mean, Mo, you should be scared because here's what's going to happen. The Packers are going to score every time they get the ball.
Ooh, I like that.
Vikings are going to be forced to pass.
Ooh, I like that.
Your worst fears are going to come true because they're going to have to try to pass protect against the Smith brothers. And Rashawn Gary apparently is looking good. Look out.
I was going to ask you guys about that because I've heard some things about Rashawn Gary. I know you guys weren't really high on him last year. So is it true? Is he a rotational guy now? Is that going to be a thing?
Dude, they said he made Bakhtiari look like a chump on a couple of pass rush drills. Bakhtiari. Now,
They don't let him hold in practice, probably. Huh?
no, not in practice. Anyways, so
but he didn't beat.
I'm just gonna say, just watch how he blocks, because he takes his hands first. His hands are outside of the shoulders, which is not good to start, and then he gets his hands underneath the shoulder pads of the guy and just holds them like this, and he never gets caught unless he doesn't let go when the guy's trying to get away behind him, and then it pulls and stretch. That's the only time he gets called. But just watch him. Just watch how he blocks. That's how he blocks. Outside the shoulders and under the shoulder pads, and it's totally holding, and he never gets called for it.
Mo, do you ever
just
watch
watch it.
NFL football? Because every freaking tackle does that.
Like everyone on the Seattle offensive line does it also, and they should be called too, but they don't.
The Patriots have done it forever. How do you think Tom Brady had all that time to just stand there, flat-footed, and throw the ball? Because they held everybody all the time.
Well, I know the whole thing is holding every play, but I think that's real holding.
See, okay, and Eric's an official as well. He's a football official in Minnesota, in the state of Minnesota, so it bothers him more than the rest of us. Sorry, Eric.
It's okay. I just think the Vikings should start doing it too. I mean, why not?
They should, because they'll get called for it then, and then the Packers will, they'll push it back. Listen, I am not ashamed to say that the Packers, they get some calls every now and again that other teams don't get. They're the Packers, dude.
And they get hosed when they play certain teams, that's for sure. But
listen,
they overcome the hose.
I grew up a Bucks fan when they had to play against Jordan's Bulls. If I can be on the opposite side of that as a Packer fan, I should be able to get some calls as a Packer fan when I had to watch the Bulls get every dang call against the Bucks.
So that's the thing I want to ask you guys, because last year the Packers won a lot of closer games, a lot of one-score games that they won to get to 13 wins, and sometimes that's how the ball bounces. Sometimes that's getting the right call at the right time. In particular, Detroit game, especially.
There's one play, one game that was like.
And I know it's harder as fans to maybe remember the calls that you got away with, as opposed to the calls you got screwed on. Because I know as a fan, you remember the calls you get screwed on. You don't remember the calls that you were in your favor. But I'm just wondering what you guys think, knowing that you They've won 13 games last year. They won some close ones. Do you think the ball bounces a different way? The flag comes out on different plays a little bit more this year? Or do you think 13 wins is the bar and that they should be better than that, less than that? What do you think?
Well, Eric, you know Ben and I long enough to know, and integrity means a lot to us too. Like, yes, and that's why we can acknowledge we're not just total homers or, saying, oh, the Packers got screwed on this call and every call that's bad it goes against them, they get screwed, and every call that they didn't get, whatever. No, and we notice the calls that they get. Ben just acknowledged it.
We could go on and on about that Seattle playoff game. Everybody talks about the last Jimmy Graham play, but they don't talk about the 5-6 plays before that where the Packers got screwed on. Nobody ever talks about those because the Packers won the game.
So Ben and I, as football fans, we notice all those things, and we have integrity when we watch the game, and we acknowledge that sometimes the Packers get the calls. But the biggest difference in why they won so many games and so many close games was a couple of things. One, Aaron Jones. And like people will say he didn't have as good of a year based on the numbers or whatever, but Aaron Rodgers made critical plays at critical times in the game. Like maybe he didn't have a great total game, but when they needed a first down and he's got to fit a ball in a spot or make this throw or make the right decision, most of the time he did that. And if you watch enough football and you see quarterbacks that don't come through in those situations and their team loses, and you see him come, and it wasn't always scoring a touchdown. A lot of times they won close games because they held the ball long enough at the end of the game that they could kneel on it at the end,
which they were never able to do for years and years and years.
Right.
By the way.
So they had all of these fourth quarter 4 minutes in drives that they just kept the ball, possessed that until the end of the game. So they weren't trying to score. And then it ended up being a 1-score win. So they had a bunch of games like that. And yes, it was everybody contributing. Aaron Jones was a key factor, but it's also the experience, decision-making, and crucial plays of Aaron Rodgers. And I don't know if people remember that enough because because the numbers weren't that 26 touchdowns only compared to like other guys throwing for 40 or 50 or whatever the hell it is.
But what do you have, like 3 interceptions or something?
He had 4 and 2 were deflected.
Two of them were deflected at the line of scrimmage. One was, and they're both inside the freaking red zone. Yeah. So one of them was a double there. Anyways, we don't have to talk about how it happened, but here's the thing I will say. I've done some investigating this past, the last 6 months, and I've saw some things about Aaron Rodgers' play. There's one guy who does a video on YouTube I watched. It was just really, really awesome. And it shows plays where guys are open. Rodgers is looking right at him, and he's not pulling the trigger on him. Okay? For whatever reason, I don't know why. And then he extends the play, and then something bad happens, even though the guy was open. And I don't know if you know this or not, but Rodgers has made this big mysterious quote about how he went back and watched practice film from 2010 and he found something that he's doing differently, or I don't know what exactly it is, and he won't say. And everybody's like, well, what's this? Oh, what is it? And he's like, I don't know. I can't tell you. I'm hoping it's that, he actually gets his mechanics back, because his mechanics have gone steadily down the tubes for years and years and years, because he's relied on trying to make the big play all the time instead of just doing the Kirk Cousins. Boom, 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 throw. Boom, boom, throw. Whatever. Read the coverage, move guys around with your eyes. He was expert at that in 2010. He was the man. 2015, he was unstoppable. I mean, they were 15-1. They were scoring so many points and yards and crazy stuff. It was amazing. And gradually over time, the talent on the Packers went down. He felt he had to make more plays. He didn't feel as comfortable with the players around him. He would hold the ball too long. He would start throwing off his back foot, doing the Brett Favre and just chucking it, doing crazy stuff all the time and having bad mechanics, because he could pull it off because he was skilled enough to do it. But when you have perfect mechanics, you're even better and you're even more accurate and you're even more awesome. And that's what I'm hoping he saw, was that his mechanics have gone down the tubes. And maybe he saw that, hey, when I had those mechanics, I was number one. And he's heard all the people talking about how he stinks, how he's not even in a top 10 quarterback, how he's not, all these guys are better than him. They're saying that Carson Wentz is better than him. Deshaun Watson. I watched him freaking Thursday night. He looked like garbage. He's not better than Aaron Rodgers. These are the things I'm excited about.
Drew Brees, Ben. Drew Brees,
whatever. Anyways, if Aaron Rodgers gets to the point where he was, where he's reading the defense, making the right plays, pulling the trigger on plays, instead of just looking at it and then not throwing the ball. And the other thing that's important too, Mo, the wide receiver coach has said that MVS, Lazard, even Lazard has said this in his, he had a presser the other day, he was talking. He said him and the other young receivers they know what they're supposed to do now, a little bit more. Instead of thinking so much, they just go. They're just reacting. They also understand, Devontae has talked to them, and they learned about when they're looking at coverages before the play starts, so they kind of know what's going to happen instead of just running their route. They now know, okay, maybe I got to shift my route a little bit this way because of the way that corner and that safety are. I've got to change my route like a tad. And Rodgers knows that too, and he sees it, and that's why he goes to Devontae most of the time, because Devontae sees those changes, because no play is going to run exactly perfect, because the defense is always doing something different. And these are things that Lazard and MVS have learned from Devontae, and now they've been working on all year on their own. And then also during this whole period where they didn't really play any games, they're just practicing, doing all this kind of stuff, route running, understanding things. And same thing with Tanya at tight end. Also with the running backs, apparently Jamal Williams everybody's talking up Jamal Williams for some reason. I don't know, like Aaron Rodgers talking up Jamal, like unprompted talking up Jamal Williams. I don't know why they're doing that. I want to see Aaron Jones out there. But anyways, those are all things, Mo, that you should be scared about. Aaron Rodgers went back and saw something in his tape, and he's going to be unfreaking stoppable. He's only going to throw 12 passes, but it's going to be for 300 yards and 5 touchdowns, because MVS is going to catch 2 50-yard touchdowns, and Robert Tonyan is going to catch a 75-yard touchdown.
That's Major Harris style, Ben.
Yeah, it is.
12 passes for 300 some yards. I like it. Eric, we got some people in here in the chat that were wondering about your thoughts about Chris Carter, because Kyle makes a claim. He says, Rick makes the claim. How many times did we watch Chris Carter cry about no interference call when he didn't make the catch? And then Kyle says, because they can't catch. And I said, if Carter couldn't push off. All right, Eric, give me this. I say if Carter couldn't push off, he wouldn't have had half of the catches he had. What's your assessment on that? Is that a correct statement? Overblown? What do you think?
Well, he had 1,000 catches. You're saying he had 500 catches he wouldn't have? Is that what you're saying?
If he couldn't push off, yes.
Yeah, I don't think so. So here's the thing. I get how Chris Carter is one of those guys it's easy to hate, kind of like Randy Moss was and stuff, right? And
I love Randy Moss
for different reasons. They can be a bit certainly polarizing, especially for rivals, right? It is what it is. But I mean, Chris Hart, can you imagine better hands? I mean, that guy, did you see the videos where
Sterling Sharp?
He just catch like one-handed catches from the jugs machines all the time. I mean, so he had great hands. He adjusted well to the ball. I get that he was I thought a really fierce competitor, and I get that can rub people the wrong way. He does the whole first down thing. People hate that, but unless you're a Viking fan, then you love that, and it's just how it is. He was just a good competitor, and he used what he had to get the job done. And I thought it was fun to watch.
I'm getting indigestion just listening to you talk right now.
You invited me. So
I got a good question. Hold on.
How can you say nice things about Chris Carter? There's something wrong there.
He was fun to watch.
He was on the Vikings a lot, and he caught a lot of short passes because he couldn't run very fast. Eric,
yep, there you go. He said it.
True.
Who was faster? And he pushed off to get open. Who was faster, Eric? Everson Griffin or Chris Carter in his 40 time?
Well, I would say Everson Griffin, because he was ridiculously fast for a defensive end in his 40 time.
I know. How did he fall to a 5th round pick?
6th round.
6th round pick when he ran. Do you know what he ran for 40? He ran a 4.59 at
I was going to say 4.6,
278 pounds.
Yeah, they actually had him his rookie year. He played gunner on the punt team. But because he's undersized and he had shorter arms, he didn't have that prototypical like Daniil Hunter looking long arm type of build and whatever. And he took a couple of years to develop too. But yeah, and they actually tried him at linebacker a little bit first, but then decided, no, you're a defensive end. So, but yeah, he's freakishly fast, and Chris Carr's freakishly slow for a wide receiver. So,
all right.
I have a question for Ben. Can I sneak one in for Ben?
You can. I have a new trivia piece that we do, and I kind of just came up with it. But go ahead. You do your question.
So Ben, this is a hypothetical. In their prime, and assuming that Aaron Jones is kind of in his prime now, I think it's fair to say he's pretty good, right? So you can only have one: Aaron Jones or Dorsey Levens. Who is it? Who do you want?
Aaron Jones.
Really?
Wait. It depends. It depends. I'll take Aaron Jones on turf and Dorsey Levens on grass.
You can only have one.
Then I'm taking Aaron Jones.
Okay. All right.
I love Dorsey, but he was glorified fullback pretty much. Who had great hands. He had great hands.
Great hands.
But he was a one cut and goal guy.
Yeah.
Where Aaron Jones is like a monster. He's just but he's not a monster. He's just I can't explain him.
I need to know where he ranked, and Dorsey Levens was the comparison that, in terms of running backs that you loved. That tells me a lot. Ben.
I love Dorsey Levens.
I know you did. I know you did.
But Aaron Jones is just he's just.
And they're going to let him go next year? Or?
They're going to let him go. They're stupid.
Hey, they're supposed to be working on a contract.
I know. Aaron Jones honestly believes that they're working on a contract. I watched his freaking interview today. He's so pumped up and happy. He thinks they're honestly going to give him a contract.
AJ Dillon is currently 4th on the depth chart, dude.
I know he is.
So is Jordan Love. They have 3 quarterbacks. Jordan Love is currently 4th. All right, here's my trivia question. We started working some trivia. Actually, Mo, you got some nice comments coming here.
Oh,
Bernard says, Mo, he says, you are a nice Viking fan, Mo.
Hey, there you go.
At first, I thought he said you're nice for a Viking fan, but he said you're a nice Viking fan. So that's even
could be kind of the same.
That's better. No,
that's even better.
Yeah.
That's nicer.
A nice Viking fan. You're like a unicorn. A nice Viking fan. That doesn't.
That's right.
Around.
Bernard's a nice kid. Nice kid. Nice.
Lots of good people.
Alex says, "Go Pack, go." Yes, we agree with that, Alex, very much. And Kyle says about Rodgers, Danica's gone now, so Rodgers can focus on himself again. That's
he usually focuses on himself.
Oh yeah, but I mean, okay. All right, here's your trivia. You ready? I've managed to, in my brain, come up with kind of a Packers and kind of Vikings trivia question, all in one shot.
Oh
now,
boy.
We just talked about Chris Carter's extremely slowness. We talked about
Everson and great hands.
And Everson Griffin's very fastness for his size. Okay. Now, there's one current Packers running back that ran the same 40 time as Everson Griffin. Can you name that Packers running back? The exact same 40-yard time at the combine.
I can name it.
Is it
would you like me to tell you who the Packers running backs are, Mo? Maybe
well,
you don't even know
that. I know about Dillon, and obviously it's not Aaron Jones, but so it's either Jamal Williams or Dillon. I don't know anyone. I don't know who the fourth one is.
Tyler Ervin.
Tyler Ervin, baby.
Tyler Ervin, the Swiss
secret
Army.
weapon on.
You better know who he is, Eric. He's going to crush you Sunday.
Oh, that's another thing I was going to bring up. I was looking. They have a pack. They were showing pictures of Packers at practice today. I was looking at all 68 pictures. Picture 39 was a group of all the wide receivers: Devontae, Lazard, MVS, St. Brown, some guy I don't know, Malik Taylor, all those guys. And Swervin Irvin was in the huddle. I'm telling you, Swervin Irvin, he might be listed as a running back, but Mo, he is a slot wide receiver. And the Vikings better be scared for some sneak attack swerving Irvin plays.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm just gonna. I don't know if it's. I'm just gonna guess Jamal Williams then.
You
That's
are
my
correct.
guess. All right.
Jamal Williams also ran a 4.59.
Deceptively slow.
Somehow
He doesn't
he
look
was,
like he's that slow. But
somehow he was drafted the
Ahead of
round
Aaron Jones.
Aaron Jones. We don't know how. He also did far fewer bench reps than Aaron Jones. So he
Tell Mo how many bench reps Aaron Jones did.
Aaron Jones did 20. I think it was 20. Did I say 26?
You said 30.
24 or 26 bench reps for Aaron Jones.
Pretty
Jamal Williams and Aaron Jones ran, I think, a 4.57 at the combine, even though he appears to be faster than the field. Yet somehow Jamal Williams, who did 18 bench reps and ran a 4.59, was drafted ahead of Aaron Jones. We don't know how. We don't know why, but at least
But Aaron Jones' shuttle drill was super fast.
At least the Packers drafted both of them, so we don't have to worry about it. But we still don't know why they drafted Jamal Williams ahead of Aaron Jones. Now, one other question.
AJ Dillon ran a 4.4 something.
Oh wow, I didn't know he was that fast.
No, he was a 4.53, I think. 4.53, 4.5. It was 4.53, 4.54, something like that.
Still pretty good.
Did you see the? Did you see the epic,
Swervin? Hang on, Swervin Irvin ran a 4.41. Eric, the Packers' new slot receiver at 5'10", 192 is a running back, but as a receiver in the Packers, 4.41. He's going to streak up the middle. He's going to do all kinds of stuff to your defense. Yeah. Mike Zimmer better be aware. He's number 32. Number 32. Watch out.
Wasn't Travis Jervey really fast too?
And he wore the same number.
How about that? Maybe he'll be just as impactful.
He's gonna be. You better watch out.
You better watch your mouth, Mo.
I'm just saying.
Bernard said you're a nice Viking fan, but you're starting to turn into the guy we actually know as jerky Viking Mo.
I could be wrong. Certainly, but that's not the guy I'm worried about. Okay, when it comes to the Packers, it's Aaron Rodgers, Aaron Jones, Devontae Adams. I'm not worried about swerving anybody. Okay, I'm just not.
Should be
swerving Irvin.
So if he goes off, on Sunday, I will come back and eat crow. But I am not worried about swerving.
AJ Dillon running up the
third string running back. I'm not worried about it. Okay.
AJ Dillon weighs more than
my defensive ends. I understand the defensive ends weigh less than everybody on the offense.
Defensive ends.
Your wide receivers weigh 20 more than Unique and Ngakoue. I understand.
And Daniel Hunter too. Daniel Hunter like 240 or 250.
Daniel Hunter is 255.
He's tiny. I mean, he's ripped. He's got a lot of muscles, but that doesn't mean a lot when you got weight. And when you got legs like AJ Dillon. Eric, you need to look up the photos. Rob Demovsky's AJ Dillon legs photo montage that he's put together. You need to look it up.
Or you can watch the infamous Ben versus
true.
AJ Dillon video.
I'm not worried about your 4-string running back's legs. Okay,
you should be.
You got,
and you should also watch.
You can't be worried about everything. Come on.
You got to worry. You should be. You should be very worried as a Viking fan. Most Viking fans we know are very worried. Travis was very worried. He said a lot of things during the HFF draft.
I'm worried. Yeah, where were you, fans? I was okay. I was coming home from work. I was trying to put my kids to bed. I was doing the best I could just to get my picks in. Fortunately, I kept like 3 guys.
Notice that priorities.
And I'm actually pretty happy with my draft. I think my team's pretty good.
You're playing me.
That's fine. I know. I've got an easy. Yeah, I have like a bye week 1 because I'm playing Ben.
Oh. But see, now it's coming out. We went on long enough. Long enough.
Here's the thing.
We got past the 90-minute mark, and now the beast comes out.
It pushed me over the edge. I'm not worried about your 4-string running back's legs. Like, come on. Let's just get a little bit real here. And I don't care that my defensive end is like 20 pounds less than your wide receiver. I don't care. It's just, this is what it is. All your linebackers are bigger than our nose tackle. That's fine. We'll just see how it works out.
Our linebackers are not.
The biggest thing I'm worried about is there's no fans.
Rick makes a good point.
Atmosphere is going to be tough, and no Daniel Hunter really sucks. Like I said at the beginning.
Agreed.
Imagine like losing Zadarius Smith for this game. That's what it feels like on this side, and it stinks.
We don't have to worry because we got Rashawn Gary now, just so you know. But anyway, Rick brings us some really good points. He says the Raiders have had quarterbacks and kickers that are heavier than the Vikings defensive linemen, and that is true. Just so you know, that is true.
Kicker was heavier than most defensive linemen. Come on.
Oh, that's
Hey,
brilliant.
Rick, I drafted Henry Ruggs
You gotta
on my
love
fantasy
Rick.
team. I don't know if I should start him though. Should I start him? Hey Mo, you want to face Henry Ruggs or DJ Chark?
It doesn't matter. I'm gonna crush you.
Ooh,
Wow, dude. I got
My-
Gardner Minshew.
I like his first name.
Oh man.
He was one of my keepers. Gardner Minshew was my keeper.
You did that on purpose? That wasn't an accident?
Yeah,
He did.
They will throw the ball a lot because Jackson's going to be terrible.
That's what I'm saying.
He loves Gardner Minshew.
Smart.
He would keep him no matter what. He loves Gardner Minshew.
I like the guy.
He's a likable guy. He's a likable guy.
Yeah. He's Ben's favorite NFL player.
I think he is.
Yep.
Over Aaron Jones?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Maybe if he keeps going, it might be historically. That might be Ben's favorite player. I don't know.
All right.
He's pretty close.
It only take him a couple more years of Minshew, he'll probably surpass Hasselbeck, I would think. And that would be something.
Yeah.
Well, okay. Gardner Minshew, right? His first name is Gardner, after one of my good buddies, Eric Gardner.
Oh, that's so nice.
His last name is Minshew, which is one of my Dungeons and Dragon characters. It was a dwarf who I named Gahaz Minshew. So that's really close. Gardner Minshew, and this was years ago. I named him Gahaz Minshew, back in 1992 or something.
Wow. Yeah.
So it was fate that Gardner Minshew should be on my fantasy football team when I had a Gahaz Minshew. It's spelled differently, but very similar sounding.
Wow. All right, we're losing viewers by the second here.
No, we're not. That's a
I'm just
segue.
playing. I'm just playing. That's
Kyle
great.
should know about Dungeons and Dragons. We played.
Kyle knows. Kyle, do you remember that one?
I don't know
Rick,
if I think that was college when I made Gahaz Minshew.
Rick is excited about Ruggs, Ben, and the thing Rick is neglecting to tell you is that what cemented him as a Raiders fan growing up in Wisconsin was the fact that they had a 280-pound kicker and a 275-pound quarterback on the same team, I think, at the same time. It's amazing stuff. I don't know that it's ever been done on any other NFL team in the history of the NFL. Go back 100 years. I don't think you find it. That's even when the linemen would double as linemen and kickers. Remember the kick back in the day, the guys that kicked were the huge guys. They were the offensive defensive linemen were the kickers back in the day. And they did the straight on. They wore the flat shoe in the front, straight on kick.
And the Raiders drafted him in the first round. Yank a crank.
No, really?
Yeah,
he was a first round draft pick kicker.
Come on.
I'm serious. Well, how is that not part of your trivia? I mean, Rick can verify.
Listen, that's a better
first round pick
than Derek Sherrard, Justin Harrell, Clinton Dix, Dayton Jones. You want me to go on and on and on? Demarius Randall. I could go on.
Oh man. We had a lot of
better draft pick in the first round than any of those guys I just mentioned.
Yeah.
Ahmad Carroll.
All right, Eric, you have to do us one favor. I know you don't watch most of our shows or any part of it. You've missed some really good things though, and some entertaining things.
I have rewatched some things. It's been pretty fun.
But what you should go back and watch for sure is the short clip.
The draft reaction to Jordan Love? No, okay.
No, that one you've already seen.
I know, it was great. It was fantastic.
But you should go and watch the video of AJ Dillon versus Ben.
Okay.
It's only 3 minutes.
Okay.
And it's a leg comparison. That's actually last
Oh,
week's
you see
trivia
that
question.
one? I did see that. I saw that.
Oh, you saw that? Okay.
And I commented on Ben's legs.
Oh, okay, that's right. Yes, you did. Okay.
Yeah. That was
And then
disturbing.
you should also, not one of our videos, but you should actually track down Devon. Did you see Devontae Adams with in the film breakdown with Brian Baldinger and those guys?
No.
Dude, that is so
appreciate
good.
That, Mo.
Yeah, you really would. That made me appreciate Devontae Adams on a whole nother level. It's very impressive to see how he thinks about the game.
Sure.
I mean, Viking corner. You should also instruct your team to watch that so they understand how he thinks more. But
they also have an Eric
I'll
Hendricks.
make a call. Yeah. Oh, do they?
Oh. Yeah, it's really cool. Where Baldy and Eric Hendricks and Kurt Warner go over some stuff at Eric Hendricks. He talks about defending against mobile quarterbacks and some other stuff, and it's pretty cool.
What show is that they do that on?
You can find it on YouTube. It's like
is it like a segment on NFL Network or something?
NFL
kind of, but it's just
like,
on YouTube.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
NFL breakdown or NFL.
Yeah, it's like Baldy's
something.
breakdowns or something like
Does
that.
he show his finger a lot and its crookedness? Because
It gets a little weird. Yeah,
it's always awkward.
Yeah. But he hasn't had Larry McCarron on with him to talk about stuff, so that's at least yeah.
Speaking of, hey, have you watched Total Packers?
I did watch it. I did watch it.
Why
did you see the best interview on that Total Packers was Larry interviewing Jair Alexander? And
that was pretty good.
Talk about he talks about the greatest play in Packer history. And Jair Alexander's like, that's my favorite play too. And then Larry was like, Jair, you're just, you're such a, a willing tackler and all this stuff. And Jair's like, I'm so excited, Larry, I might tackle you through the screen. And I was like, wow, Jair is ready to go.
Jair, if they can get the Vikings to pass, they'll be in good shape. They'll be in good shape.
Normal just drop back passes. That's what they need to avoid for sure.
All right. Is there anything else we missed? We've been on going a while here. Eric, you got any parting shots?
Oh, geez. I don't know.
Anything you're excited? I'm excited for the game.
Yeah.
I'll just say that.
And I know I've come off. I'm still a little sour about the Danielle Hunter news. And especially when I was like kind of licking my chops a bit, knowing that the right tackle thing was in flux with the Packers and everything. But, you got to hope that, the depth steps up. They have some depth there and that they have a competitive game. I'm a little worried about certain things. I'm a little worried that people are saying like, oh, Rodgers has a chip on his shoulder. And I don't know. I've always felt like he's been a competitive guy. I don't see having a chip on his shoulder is going to make him any more of a competitive than he already is. But, he's always the number one guy I worry about. And obviously they've got more of a running game now and more of a defense they've had in the past. So it's going to be a tough first test, and it's kind of hard to know where people are at. I think not having preseason games, not having a lot of contact at practice, I think that the offense tends to be more behind than the defense. And I think that's maybe why we saw in the Chiefs game, they ran the ball so much because it's a lot easier to do a run play than it is a timing coordinated pass play. So it could be more of a run heavy thing, and I hope they're ready for that. But two pretty good running teams. So I think whoever runs the ball the best is going to probably come out on top, which might be a little cliche, but that's going to be the way it is. And I hope that, I don't know, they just feed in as much crowd noise as possible, even though it's artificial. I don't know. It's just not going to be the same. And it's kind of a bummer that way, but I'm still looking forward to a good game. They tend to be pretty good games, pretty exciting. And I'm just glad that football is back in general. So.
Eric, if it makes you feel any better about missing Danielle Hunter, I think Billy Turner is still doubtful for the Packers. So
who is the right tackle?
We have that.
We don't know.
You don't know?
They don't say anything.
You know about like the fourth string running back's legs, but you don't know who the right tackle is going to be.
They don't say anything.
The two guys that were competing are both injured. So and then they cut the guy who was their backup tackle last year, and then they re-signed him to the practice squad. Oh yeah, Yash
but
might start.
He didn't practice all preseason, all training camp. Though he's healthy enough to play.
But he might start.
He technically is a backup at left tackle. Then they were talking about moving Jenkins to right tackle and putting Lucas Patrick in at left guard, just to try to I don't know.
And then
they would talking all kinds of things.
And they would run a lot. They'd run like 80% of the time.
It was my biggest concern going as of on Sunday when we talked about all the roster cuts and stuff. But as soon as I heard the Danielle Hunter news, then that's no longer my biggest concern. Now Dalvin Cook is my biggest concern, and Madison. Those two guys are a bigger concern to me than the offensive line of the Packers, because I think they could piece something together and chip block or whatever and help out over there as much as possible, or just run right at them, or I don't know. But stopping the run is a bigger issue that I think I'm more worried about at this point.
I mean,
thanks to Danielle Hunter being hurt.
Eric, for all we know, it could be Mercedes Lewis could be the starting right tackle. We don't know.
Could be. He's big enough.
Well, new rule this year with the practice squad, obviously expanded, but you can actually elevate someone from the practice squad up to 90 minutes before the game. So if they have someone like that they might need,
and they do. Alex Light, That's the guy who was the backup last year who they cut and they put him on the practice squad. So they couldn't move him up to be on the active roster, which to be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if they don't, or I'm guessing they're going to end up doing that. Because I don't think they can go into a game with Billy Turner hurt, Rick Magner hurt here and there, Josh Yman or whatever his name is, Yosh, whatever his name is, how they playing all the whole time. Even if Alex Light stinks, at least he's a guy who they knows the plays and stuff. Like, you don't want to put a guy in there who hasn't practiced at all. What does he do? What's he screw? And they don't run like a regular old, just run, block, grab the guy in front of you. They do like a bunch of crazy stuff where you got guys pulling and moving and all this kind of junk. So if you don't know the offense, you can't really come in there and start playing. So that's, but it's not as concerning as the defensive line and trying to stop the run and blah, blah, blah. That's what I'm more worried about. But I'm excited. I hope to gosh that it's a good game. I don't want to see any Anthony Barr cheap shots after Aaron Rodgers throws the ball. That's bull crap. I don't want to see that again. I hate Anthony Barr.
It wasn't.
I hate Anthony Barr more than I hate Chris Carter.
Most people do.
Even days. Viking fans hate Anthony Barr.
Well,
I heard they were happy when he was going to sign with the Jets, and then all of a sudden he comes back to sign with the Vikings, and the Viking fans are like, eh.
So here's the thing. He gets, here's the thing. He gets paid a lot now, right? Big contract. And he's not like the stat stuffing kind of linebacker where he gets a ton of tackles, a ton of like sacks and things, but he does a lot of things that Zimmer just thinks is really important, and he can do a lot of things with him. And so, because he's a smart player and everything. And so I'm not the biggest fan of him necessarily. I understand why Packer fans hate him, certainly, and that's fine. It was a clean hit at the time within the rules, but I understand that you guys might feel differently, and that's okay. But anyway, I'm not going to go down that road. The thing is that, he is what he is. He's still a good linebacker. It'd be interesting to see how they use him here this year now that Dom Capers is in the fold, right? I'm sure you guys are excited.
All I know is, Mo, it's going to be 3rd and 13, and you think you're going to be safe? Not with the Dom Capers defense. That's right where the offense wants you.
It's not a Dom Capers defense. Like I said, he didn't come in there to tell Zimmer about coverages. Zimmer knows about coverages.
You better hope Zimmer doesn't listen to him about coverages.
He liked his blitz packages and his 3-4 things that he wanted to see spin off of. That's what he brought him in for.
I like those too because Aaron Rodgers saw him in practice for like 10 years. So, hey, that should be a good fit.
Plus we got Jerry Gray or whatever his name is, who was the secondary coach for you guys for years and years and years. Now he's our guy. So we know all your tricks, man. We know all Zimmer's moves.
Well, there's not a lot of tricks. It's just like, contest the pass and then tackle them.
Hey, the Packers need those reminders. They need those reminders a lot. Be close to the guy. Like, don't stand over here and look at him while he catches the pass. That's what they did all the years under Dom. So this is good to have a guy that's like, stay close to him and then tackle him or break up the pass. That's good to have those reminders. Now, one last thing, because we are rivaling our longest episode ever, I think, other than maybe the draft one. Rick has confirmed Sebastian Janikowski was the 17th overall pick when he was drafted by the Raiders.
First rounder.
Because they thought they had not only a kicker, but they were going back to the old days of starting defensive tackle too. Man, dual player. Just like James Looney could have been this year, Ben. Dang it.
I want to know how many tackles he had, like on kickoffs that he had to like at the end. We actually had to use some of that. Wait a little bit.
He just wasn't fast enough though. Like he couldn't catch fast guys.
I just wonder if he had any tackles at all. It'd be nice to know.
Rick, if you're still around and let us know.
Who did have tackles? Pat McAfee.
He was awesome.
And now Aaron Rodgers is going to be on the Pat McAfee and Hawk show every Tuesday.
Woo!
Did you know that? Every Tuesday, Rodgers is going to be on the McAfee and Hawk show.
Nice. Why can't we get we got to get a former Packer player on our show so people will come on. But even Tom Grossi's got like Ryan Grant going on his show now.
Yeah, I saw.
Who can we get?
Travis Jervy. Maybe we can get Travis Jervy.
Yeah, we got to call Eckes and have him get Jervy. Yeah, Eckes, Come on, watch this show. Reach out to Jervy. You know,
Maybe
you
we
got his
could get
number
like
somewhere.
Sam Congato or something.
Yeah, somebody. Trying to think. You know who would be the best former
Aubrey
Packer?
Matthews.
The best former Packer to get, but we couldn't get him right now because he plays for the Bills.
Well, yeah, Micah Hyde, the greatest guy of all
buddy.
time. Micah Hyde.
Oh my God. Were you glad when Micah Hyde didn't re-sign with the Packers, Small?
Well, yeah, he's really good.
All right. You're a smart
I mean,
guy. You get to
fair
be on our
enough,
show again.
right?
Hey,
I mean,
remember
see-
this name, Mo? Chandon Sullivan. He's
Okay.
gonna blanket Justin Jefferson like he's
Nickel
nothing.
cornerback. Nickel. Okay.
And remember 32 on offense because you're going to see him a lot.
Yeah, Swervin Irvin. Look out, Mo.
Swervin Irvin. Got it.
85, Robert Tanyan. Look out.
Okay. All right.
83, MVS. Destroy your rookie corners.
They're not rookies. They're third year.
That one guy, whatever his name is, he got hurt and whatever came back. Who cares?
What? Mike Hughes.
Sure, that guy, Mike Hughes.
Rick says Janikowski had 18 tackles in his
Whoa.
career.
Wow. It's
And
like
his-
one a year.
Yeah, he played a long time.
Hey, Mo, happy birthday, you big jerk. It's coming up.
It
Well,
is,
that's
yeah.
right.
Same
Next
to you,
week.
Ben.
Woo.
How old are you
You're
going to be?
like-
You're only going to be like 44 or something, right? You're young.
43.
Oh,
That's
my
it? You're going to be
goodness.
43?
Yeah, I'm 42.
I'm that
right
much
now.
older than you?
Can't you tell? Just by
No, I
yeah,
look good.
It's well, I was going to based on maturity, and that's I didn't get that.
Oh, no.
Oh,
Oh, maturity, I'm like 12. But age, I'm, going to be 46. But, whatever.
Whew. All right.
Man.
Well, it's
That's
been good to
Friday.
talk with you guys. I think we'll let everybody
too.
else go because I don't know if we're. Well, they're still hanging in there, and Rick's still feeding us some good info. 284 games. 284 games for Janikowski, 18 tackles, and a lot of pounds for a kicker, that's for sure. All right. Have a great weekend, everybody. Noon game, Vikings Packers, even with no fans, even in weird times, it'll be fun. You enjoy it. We're certainly going to enjoy it. And hopefully, if we didn't bore you enough tonight, come and watch the game with us on our Hafeman Brothers live game reactions. Now, a lot of people, when they do the live game reactions, they don't worry about the swears. Ben, before we go, are we going to be worrying about the swears on Sunday or not?
I don't know.
So there's another reason to tune in. There might be some swears, possibly some swears. We'll try
I
to
don't
keep it
know.
under wraps because mom and dad might be watching. Mom and dad might be watching.
I know this much.
But-
It'll probably be on my phone. So it'll be crackly.
And if you're delayed between me and I'm seeing it before you, that could be even better. It'll be great because I'll be like,
Just
"Wah!"
dumb.
and then Ben will be like,
That-
"Wah!" and then
No, then we'll stop it because I am not doing that. 'Cause I've done that before. We told the story on one of our podcasts about when I watched the last year, the Packers Chief game, when it was me, mom, and dad all sitting
that's
in this
right.
hotel room because they at the hotel room didn't get the TV station, the NBC. So here's me, mom, and dad all watching on our phones, and they buffered at different times for some unknown reason. And me and mom were pretty close, but dad was way ahead of us. So dad kept going like, "Oh yeah," and I'm like, "Stop it already!" And he kept doing it. And then I had to go and get everybody. I was supposed to give me your phone, and I had to make him behind me somehow so that I would stop hearing stuff before it happened. Gosh dang it!
Oh man.
Dad couldn't keep his excitement down. I could at least keep my excitement down, unless it was the Aaron Jones play. Then I lost it, especially the
Yeah.
one where he ran out of bounds on 10-yard line like a ding dong. Should have been a touchdown.
That's true. All right. Well, you've heard enough from us, but you can hear more on Sunday during the game. Eric, good luck to you, but not your team this week. But after this week, they can have some luck.
Okay. Thank you. I think.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
But thanks for
All right.
having me anyway.
Good to talk with you always. Viking Mo, everybody. Our favorite Viking fan.
Here we go.
All right. That's terrible. I should have stopped.
Come
the story
on,
before that.
skull or
All
something.
right. See you next week.
Ah.
See you next week. Or
All
see you on
right.
Sunday.